Hello, welcome back. Nigel here with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench, and here we are now with part 5. It's Friday the 28th of November 2025. So here we are. Now, if you remember, this one here, this Tiger Hobbies Bf109 sold out, sorry, all gone. I need to make a new mat, don't I? So basically, as I said in the end of part 4, my objective now is to get on and get the supercharger glued to the inlet manifold and have it so I can take it off and deal with this seam rather than deal with it when it's on the engine. So the objective here is to get this supercharger fitted like so, get the inlet manifold fitted like so, and then be able to glue them together here and then remove it as an assembly. So what I'm going to do, you may well notice I've put a little piece of 10 thou plastic card on here. There is a small gap there, and I just wanted to get some plastic card in there so I can get a nice strong joint. So here you can see we've got this T-shaped lug which fits in this T-shaped hole in the engine here. So what I'm going to do is get my cutters and I'm going to remove sort of half of it, not all of it, just half of it. So we'll cut away like this, just cut away a chunk of it. So we've still got a location, but it's not so big. That's the thing we want to do. There we go. So that's that location sort of halved. Okay, so it'll still go in there. It'll still positively fit, I hope. It'll still positively fit in there. There we go. Positively locks in there. But now it'll make it a lot easier to remove. So what I'm going to do now is take a gamble. And I'm going to put some extra thin quick setting into that joint. And then squeeze it together like so, and leave it to dry. Now obviously you've just seen me cut that leg off. I don't know if this is going to work. At best it's going to work. At worst we're just stuck with what we've got. But as you can see, dealing with this seam, because I think this pipe here is one piece. I don't think it's got a joint in it. So what I want to do is get that as absolutely seamless as I can, and then that's got to be painted silver, aluminium, and then just plonk it on. So that can sit like that. Now just before the glue goes hard, we'll just try it. See if I can, yeah, it does work. Okay, so I can put that manifold back on, push the supercharger back into its slot. There we go. So I'm going to put another drop of cement in there, make sure we get a really good strong, really flood it, make sure we get a really good strong weld going on, and I'm going to leave that to dry for a few minutes. It doesn't take long, and then we'll be able to put some super glue on there and work on that joint. Back in a bit. And we're back. So here we've got the supercharger glued to the inlet manifold. It's had a good 10 minutes, 20, 15 minutes, whatever. So we can now see that I can just basically lift that supercharger and take that off as an assembly. So now we can work with that seam. As you can see, we've got a little bit of a step there, but I'm happy to deal with that step because what I'm going to do is give it all a good super glue. So what I want to do is just try and nudge that a touch just to get rid of that step, and then just check that it does fit properly. It may be that it has to have the step to fit properly. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so now I'm going to take that off. Alright, and I'm going to get my little Pringles lid, and then, which I need to replace actually, don't I? It's a bit used, this one. I'm going to put some of the black VMS thin super glue, again available from Brooks Models. So we can take this here, and what I'm going to do is give this a good thick going over, just like so, all the way around, A to fill it, and B for a bit of an additional strength. Remember, this VMS is flexible. It's not like normal super glue. It's not like brittle and just breaks. So it does give you a really nice strong joint. So there you are. You can see what I've done there now. You can see that is all glued together, so that can just sit and dry. I may actually, I'm going to get my rocket blaster, grab an old used cotton bud, and I could just dab some of this onto there, and that will go round and sort that out. Okay, right. So leave that to dry, and we can get on with the build. So we're going to go backwards now. So we've done all this. Now these ignition looms need to be fitted. So we've got one here. Oops, got this hooked up. And we have one here. Okay, so these are all painted, ready to go on. Now the ends are going to go into the magneto up here. So this one is going to be on that side, this one is for this side. So all we're going to do, you've got little pins on the back of there that are going to pop into those holes like that, and it all should line up beautifully. And here we have a little bracket. That little bracket, where's that going to go? I can't see where that little bracket's going to go. And I can't see the... Here we go, you can see it here. It's always worth looking forward in the instructions. So we can see there, that bracket is sitting in front of that part, so that's got to sit like that. That's a bit tricky actually, because if you have that bracket there sitting in front of that block, you can see it's pulling the this pipe away from here. So if I pop it behind it, then it's no good. It needs to be, so I'm sure it needs to be in front of it. I'm looking at it there, and yeah, they've got it in front of it. So what we need to do is give this a little tweak, like so. Just give it an extra little bend, and that should help it to fit. Look at that, straight away. Straight in, so that's gone into the magneto there. Okay. I'll push my glasses up so I can see what I'm doing. So that is pretty much a perfect fit there. I'm just going to give it another little tweak. I'm going to go this way this time, so I'm going to go like that, just a touch. There we are. I think what I'm going to do is put a little drop of extra thin quick setting here. And then just hold that in place just for 5 minutes, whatever. I may put a tiny bit of drop of that black super glue in there as well, because we do have a tiny little gap there. I can also see a seam line there as well, so I'm going to have to deal with that. So we will be doing some touch-up. Yeah, that's not taking at all. I think what I might do is put a drop of, I'll get my, where's that cotton bud that I used? It should still be wet. No, it's not, it's dried out. What I'll do is put this down, get rid of this bloody frog in my throat, which is there every 10 minutes. Right, so we've got that there. So I think what I'm going to do is put a drop of super glue on here, like so, and then put that pipe in position there. I'm just going to mop off the excess. That. I'm going to dip that into there and just put a drop on there, and that will hold that in position. That should bite, and that will be that. I want to deal with that little seam as well. I don't like that, that looks ugly. So we'll put a little drop of super glue into that seam. And we can give that a quick sand over and then we can brush paint that again. Okay, it's going to be difficult to touch up that copper and have it looking nice, but I'm sure we'll get there. We can put some masking tape behind and spray it and then brush paint the black in around it. Whatever we have to do, we shall do. Alright, so I'm going to leave that to dry. What I might actually do is fit the other side the same. We'll see how this one fits. So drop those plugs into their holes. That one needs to come up. Go on, go on. Right, there we are. Yeah, that was a much better fit. Right, so what we'll do, we will put a drop of super glue on there, like so. And then we will plonk this into position. That pipe will fall straight into place. Like so, and then I can dab it with, unfortunately the cotton bud has dried out. I've seen people use this with a brush, but I always find that you touch the super glue with a brush and that's your brush ruined. So that's what gave me the idea of using a cotton bud. You can use a cocktail stick. Where's a cocktail stick? You can use a oh, I keep touching that pipe. That loom. Just dab that on there. There you go. And that uses a lot less than a cotton bud. We'll put that down. Okay, so I don't generally like using accelerator because it makes the super glue brittle, but with this wonderful VMS stuff. So once again, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to leave that to dry. This is exciting, isn't it? So now that's gone off, what I can do there is peg those into place and glue them in. They'll go in there lovely. So that's that done. I also now need to grab my little, I'm going to use the foam. So I'm going to use the fine side of the skinny stick. There we are. Oh, I've just bloody knocked it off now. Or did I? Right, I'm going to turn the camera off, get those glued on, and then I'll see you back. Okay, so supercharger's done. You can see the pipe there, all sanded, seam, no seams, no nothing, and I've gone around the ends and given it a nice look and clean look and everything. So what we're going to do now is actually fit this onto the engine for the final time. So it's actually going to sit in there. I'm not going to worry about scraping paint because it basically pretty much clips into place. It really is a fantastic little fit, even though I've messed with it. He says. Let's hope I haven't moved it. There we go. There we go. You heard that clip in then, so that's gone in. So the supercharger is in there. Okay, and that inlet manifold is on there. Now, I'm not really sure how or where I can glue it, but does it need to be glued? Is the question. Probably not. Now, what I want to do is take it off again, and what I'm going to do is put some cement on here I've got to go around with some varnishes and stuff because we've got some different sheens and that on paint. It doesn't look good. I'm going to sort that out. I'm wondering if that there should be a balance pipe. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is put some extra thin. Use the ordinary, because if I use the quick drying it'll just dry out. And I'm going to put a drop in there and that'll wick down. I'm going to put a drop in there and that'll wick down, and hopefully it will make some contact. It doesn't need to be mega strong, it just needs to go together. Not be together. So that can clip into there. He says it's typical, isn't it? I've got the glue in there, so now it's not going to go together. Come on. Close that glue, it stinks. Right, that's gone in. And now that's gone in, so it's all gone in together now. So hopefully that will be enough to keep all that together. As you can see, we've got this sort of bit of a sheen going on here on that rubber black. Again, I've used that with the Modeller's World stuff. So there we go. So we shall see how that ends up. So the engine's going that way up. So none of this is going to be seen anyway, but it's nice to know it's there. I'm actually toying with the idea of changing route on this because this engine is so nice. I'm actually toying with the idea of building the other engine and building this model as the RAF version all closed up, so that I can, because I know Airscan are making some stuff and I want to get that and put the upgraded cockpit in. And it'd be nice to have it with this engine because it's so nice. It would be a shame to put that upgraded cockpit on a model that's all closed up. So I don't know. We shall see. I might go on and build the other engine anyway, and then I can, because the engine doesn't go in for ages yet, so I can make my own mind up. Right, so that's that. So we're up to step 29. We've done all of this. Okay, so coming over the page, we've got all those greeblies, they're all on. We've done them, they're on. Engine bearers are going on now. So that's a good opportunity, I think, because Dottie needs to go for a walk. So that's a good idea. We'll glue the engine bearers on, and then I'll take Dottie for a walk. How long is this video? It's not very long yet, is it? I don't know where the days go with this model. I mean, I've done, while the stuff was drying, I did I made another D'Agostini Ferrari video. I was supposed to be out in the garage today doing some work on my lights. I've got new lights for the garage. I haven't got around to that. So, yes, not much going on at the moment. It just seems to be Airfix 109 in my life. Just scraping some paint away from there. And then what I'm going to do is put some extra thin into here. Okay, and then I'm going to put some onto there. And that will dissolve the paint. So it's this one. No, it's not. It's this one, isn't it? This is the top of the engine, so it's that one there. So that one's going to go into there like that. And then that one's going to go into there like that. So all that work I did painting those green bits, and you can hardly see them. So as I say, it's not what you can see, it's what you know is there. So give those a bit of a rock around, a bit of a move about, and then that'll get that glue doing its thing, penetrating the paint. Got a nice big drop in there, nice big drop on there. I'm going to take some away from here. Put it in there, right, and then we can also put that into there, and then that into there, and there we go. We are coming together. And there you are. It's looking good, isn't it? I think I've made a lot of fuss. It's taken me forever. I saw Moss build his engine in about 5 minutes flat, I think. But I think it's worth the extra work to do it all separate, and it's going to look quite good. We also have to bear in mind, I've been informed that apparently the Luftwaffe kept their aircraft engines extremely good. They kept them clean and up together. That's interesting that rod from there has gone out to there, so it's obviously some sort of support or conduit or something. So that's interesting. I was going to say I was going to get the bulkhead to try this on, but it's all quite flexible, so it'll all find its own place anyway. Oops, I shouldn't have done that. This side, where are we? This side here. Whoops, we got to put that pipe in first. Dear Nigel. Right, so what we'll do, we'll remove some paint from here and move my glasses up because they're pissing me off. I've got new glasses and I keep thinking I need eye tests, and what it is, the glasses keep riding down my nose. And I've tried all sorts of bits and pieces to stop them doing it, and it doesn't seem to work. So this is going to go in that way. So this has got to come through there. And then that is going to go, we've got 2 pins on there and they're going to go into those 2 holes. Like that. Are they? Is that correct? That's how it looks to me, but those pins don't line up. I've done something wrong, it's not the model. Yes, they do. So because we're behind, we're not going to see it. I'm going to put a drop in here now. Oh shit! I just touched my finger and it's going to put it onto there. Look at that. Bloody hell. Oh gosh, everything's going wrong today again. Oh, this is the problem. When you've got, see, I've got a fresh bottle and it's quite high and there's glue all down the shaft and it just literally touched my finger, could put it onto there. I'll have to just touch that in after. It's right on the bloody top as well. Urgh. Right, so that's gone together. So I'm going to put some more extra thin on here. I should have test fitted it, shouldn't I, to check that pipe fitment. I'm not sure where that pipe's supposed to go. I guess it's going to go into there, isn't it? So this is going to go onto here, like so. And then the bottom's going to go down into there, like that. Right. I've just moved that one. And the pipe fits perfectly. That's really nice. Push my glasses up again. Yeah, that pipe fits on there lovely. So I'm going to put a drop of cement onto that pipe and then just give it a little nudge down. Just to get that to lock onto there. And then we can touch all that in with a bit of silver paint later. I'll have to paint that in as well. That's obviously going to come up to another pipe somewhere. We've got this end here is going to go into the middle of another pipe which runs along there. So we'll have lots of little bits of touch up to do, but it's going to be very rewarding. So there we go. You can see it's looking even busier now. You can see how well that pipe fits onto there. So yeah, very nice indeed. Very nice. Right. So I'm going to stand that up on its shaft and take Dotty for a walk. See you in a bit. Okay, so we are back and Dotty's been walked. We actually went to the pub, so I've had a couple of pints and she's had some treats, so she's happy. She's down here asleep. Where is she? No, she's obviously gone. No, she is down to my right. Here she is. Right, so basically you can see the engine here with the bearers. It's all dry now. I actually, when I went out, I wedged a cotton bud, a cocktail stick even, in there to hold that pipe down. So that's all good. The exhausts, I don't want to glue them on yet. The reason being, one, I'm not 100% sure that I'm going to use this engine in this model. I may change my plans and do this as the closed up RAF version. We shall see. Two, if we glue these on here now and we get fit issues around this wing root, which I'm sure we won't, but if we do, there's really nothing we can do about it. So I would rather sort of be able to fit these when I fit the engine, and then if we do need to do any shuffling around, we can just cut these pins off and move them around. Now we've got these brackets here which are H4 and H3, and they glue into the side of the engine. They're the RLMO2 parts there, and they locate into holes in these shields over the top of the exhaust. So you've got 3 in this one there, one there, one there. So because there's a pipe coming down here, so what you can do is not fit them now, but you can actually come along and kind of clip them up and in. You can see like that. Now we're going to have another 2 holes coming off, the 2 pipes coming off the water tanks on the sides, but because the location pins are very small, I think we should be able to just hook them up. The other thing is I wanted to talk about was the exhaust. If you remember, they all went white when I primed them. I want to say thank you. A lot of you have ordered the VMS primer from Brooks Models. Rob sent me a message today and said, have you been using that primer? He said, I've had loads of orders. Well done, thank you very much. And you've used your NMB10 discount as well, so well done to you. So yeah, these are all done now. I've just noticed I've got some white in the end, so I'm going to give them some soot again. But basically they're looking pretty good, I think. They look pretty good. I'm sort of not convinced about them rusting, but apparently they do. I'm not sure that the Spitfire ones do, but different materials, I think. So I don't want to fit the exhaust yet, but I'm going to keep them here and keep test fitting them as I go, in case I get to a point where, you know, like say I put these pipes on and they run over the exhaust, and obviously I can't get the exhaust in behind them. So there we go. So the next thing we're going to do is put these pipes on. So we've got these pipes here. Now I've painted these green as per the instructions. Not many 109s had these painted green, but they would have been painted green on a sort of correct engine, because they were very fussy about their colour coding. So we've got these all painted up, and that is going to basically go in there like that. So that pipe at the back needs to go inside the engine bearer, not outside. I'm not going to glue this end, because when we put the water tank in, that pipe on the front of the water tank that I've got in the clamp is going to go into that hole there. So this pipe is kind of sandwiched in between. So we've got 2 little lugs on here that are painted RLMO2 grey, and they are going to go onto that rocker cover, cam cover thing, whatever you want to call it. So I'm just going to scrape some paint from there. Just a small amount, just to allow the glue to attack easier. I'm going to scrape some paint from there. Alright, and if we have to go in afterwards and do touch-ups and stuff, then we will. But I'm kind of tempted to fit these the same time as I fit those water tanks, because there's nothing really to hold them in place. Even saying that, they stay there on their own. Maybe, just maybe, I'll get lucky. I don't get lucky very often, but maybe they'll just stay there. Haha, see, it's all going wrong now. Right, so I'm going to grab my cocktail stick and just push that then down. Yeah, see, I bloody knew it. It's all moving around. Yeah. Oh, we're going to make a mess. We're going to make a mess, but I'm going to keep going, because we'll see how we go. Right, so I'm going to hold that end down on there. And I've got to be really careful, because we've got glue on those green parts, and if we get them in the wrong place, we'll make glue marks on the rocker covers. It can all be touched in and blended in, but remember we've got that pre-shading, so I don't really want to mess that up. Okay, and now I'm going to come in with a drop of ordinary extra thin, because in my opinion it's a stronger bite, and we can run that in there and that will capillary around. Now we've got those holes there pretty well lined up, so I'm just going to put that down and let that sit. You can see how lovely they fit. You can see there's a scratch mark there where the silver has deposited. So that's okay, we're going to be putting scratch marks and stuff on it anyway. So I'm just going to leave that to dry for sort of 10-15 minutes. And then we'll go from there. Right, see you in a bit. Okay, so there we are. They've had a good few minutes to dry, and they're just glued there and there. They're not glued up, you know, at the front or anything. But you can see now, starting to look lovely. All the different colours, and I think doing the clips and everything is really paying off and making things pop. I think it's looking absolutely superb. It's a beautiful model, I can tell you that. Right. So next on in the instructions, we've done these pipes, so they're done. Now we've got this, what is apparently an oil tank, goes on the front. So I mounted that because I noticed that when I sprayed it, I had a little bit of a bald patch on there, just like the rest of my head. So I just sprayed that in again with LP11. So this is basically going to go on the front and just drop on like that. It has no sort of positive location. There's a little bit of a rock in it. You can see I haven't filled those sink marks because they're covered by the shroud of the engine. If I had this engine on display separately next to the model, I would have dealt with those, but I'm not worried about it too much. So yeah, so what we're going to do here is put the model down this way. I'm a little bit worried about those pipes being a bit fragile until we get the fronts glued on. So what I'm going to do is come in here with the knife and just scrape away some paint here. Okay, and then we can drop this on, whoops, upside down. We can drop this on, just like so. I'll hold the model on the engine bearers, I'm not worried about touching them. Okay, so it's going to sit on that flange there. So I think what I'm going to do, because we're going to be coming in with washes and stuff anyway, I'm just hoping I don't mess this up. I bet I do, because I always bloody do when I'm on camera, don't I? I'm going to put a drop of cement in there and a drop of cement in there, and hopefully maybe I should put some in the bottom as well, or the top. No, the is the bottom, isn't it? I'm just using my finger as a support, and I'm going to put a drop in there like so. And what I think I might do, although it's going to be hidden behind the spinner anyway, what I might do is come in and just do some variation, because you can see this tank is clearly bolted to a plate which is probably bolted to the front of the engine, and they haven't put the bolt detail in there, but I expect somebody's going to come up with all sorts of 3D printed stuff for this. They'll be going mad for it, and it'll be beautiful stuff, I can assure you. So that's that done. I also need to get in and cross off these numbers because they're bits I've done. There we go. So that's in, that's done, that's done. Right, now we've got this, I think it's is it a wiring loom or a hydraulic harness or what? I don't know what it is. But that's going to go on, and we've got that here. If you remember, this has got the lovely decals on it. So you can see they're all sealed in. Looking lovely. So this is going to basically go on the side of the engine here. That a wrong way round, Nige. So this is going to fit onto there. So we've got a hole in there, so it's going to go on the end of there, that little solenoid or whatever it is. And where's the rest of it going to go? Oh, I see. That is going to fit in there. Wow, look at the fit on that. That's brilliant. Right, so what we'll do then is, I'm not going to worry about scraping paint away on this. What I'm going to do is scrape some paint. When I said not worry about, I meant not scraping paint from there, from the bearer. So I'm going to scrape some paint from there, and I'm going to scrape some paint from here because I want a nice strong joint. So what I'm going to do is hold that like that. I'm going to put a drop of cement on the end of that pin, and then plonk this in position like so. Tweezers, please. Okay, we're going to put this end on first. By now the glue will have dried because I used the quick setting. Yeah, the glue has dried, so that's absolutely useless. So what we'll do is we'll put a drop on there like that, and then plonk that onto there. There we go. That glue could put it under my finger again, look. So we'll have some more work to do on there, cleaning up. Oh, look at this. Right, so what we need to do is put this on here, get that sat in there. Do you know what? I don't know why I do these videos. It's just a bloody nightmare. It's only when the camera's on that things go wrong. So what I want to do is push that into there. Oh, come on, play the bloody whatever. Right, so I want that to stay on there. Squeeze that on, and that can stay like that. Brilliant. I might not even glue this because we're going to put that blue air tube around there, and that's going to hold that in place. So that's on there. So I'm going to leave that to dry. Yep, you heard it right. I'm going to leave that to dry, and then I'll be back. Okay, so that looms, whatever it is in place now. And I have actually glued it in to make sure those brackets sit tight in against the engine bearer so it looks accurate. So a little bit of touch up in there, whatever. I guess when I put a wash in, it will hide any marks, glue marks anyway. So this pipe here is going on. I've scraped some paint from that mount there, and I've scraped some paint from this little recess in here, because this is basically going to fit over the end of this pipe, and the bracket is going to go into there. So basically the way it's going to fit is like this. So that pipe goes over the top of the bearer like that, and then it comes in here, and then that pipe there is going to be left loose and go into the top of the exhaust. So that's cool. Right, now what I want to do here, I'm going to get a bit of tabia tape. I've got some old bits over here actually, and I'm going to de-tack it big time. What I'm going to do is stick this on top of this engine bearer so that when I put the cement on, it doesn't capillary underneath onto that engine bearer and make a right old mess of silver and green paint. So we'll put that like that. That pipe's going over the top. That bracket's going in the back there. And then that's going to go onto that pipe there. Now the bloody tape is pushing it away. Urgh. How annoying is that? Right, so once again we're going to have to glue it and hold it, and I'm going to have to hope I don't get anything wicking underneath my fingers. We'll push those together. You can see how lovely that fit is where those two pipes meet. Just hold that together like that. Okay, and then this bracket up here, I think I'll come in from the inside and just put a drop of cement in there quickly. That was a bit of a big drop, I think. Again, it can all be touched up. My bloody glasses are flowing down my face. Yeah, we need a touch up in there. There we go, that's that in place. It's the beauty of quick setting. And I'm just going to do a quick check with the exhaust. We can fit the exhaust up underneath that pipe. Where's the pin? That's going to fit up. Oh, come on. That's going to fit up under there like that. I can't see the hole because I'm as blind as a bat. Have I actually bent that down when I've been holding the engine? Is that what's happened? Yes. You can see that pipe's going to line up on there perfectly and just drop into that hole at the top of the exhaust. Back there. Is the hole back there? Where is it? But yes, back there. So once that tape is out of the way, I think it'll go back a lot easier. That'll easily go down in and stay in position there, as you can see. So there it is. Right. Okay, so we'll take this exhaust away. There we are. Right. So I'm going to let that glue dry, and then I'll take that tape out. Now this piece here, I don't know what this is. It's an air bleed or something around the supercharger. And it is indeed painted blue. And I'll put a picture up now, and you can see this picture. I've forgotten where it comes from, but I may put a credit in the description if I remember. This is actually a wartime image of a Bf109 G-6, and you can see that this piece here, which is like an air pipe or something, I don't know what it's doing, that is actually painted blue. So there we go. That was my big debate, my big discussion, and I was sent that photograph by a very kind gentleman. Thank you very, very much. And I have asked if I can use it, and he agreed that I could. So there we are. So I'm going to scratch a bit of paint off of there. So this is going to fit over the inlet for the supercharger. Just like so. It does fit because I've test fitted it. There we are. So there's a little notch in the supercharger. Oh dear, it's fallen back off again. So yeah, there's a little notch in the supercharger, and there's a little recess in that ring where it goes over the intake. So what I'm going to do is just put it over that recess. Doesn't seem to be going over there. Yes, it is. It looked like it's just the angle I'm looking at it. And what I'm going to do is come in from underneath, just put a drop of cement in that little contact area, and that'll be enough to hold that on, I think. I hope. And then I won't be disturbing any of this paint up here with the glue. In fact, what I might do is just with a tiny drop under there. That should help it. So there's that pipe on there, and as I say, it is indeed a blue. I wasn't convinced, but I am now, and hopefully you are too. Okay, so that's that done. So that one's on, that one's on. These are all on, so we can go over the page and we can fit this tank. So this is the correct one. So this is going to fit. In fact, what I think I might do is fit the other side, because that tape won't be in the way. So I think what I'll do is fit this side. I'm wondering if those brackets now should have been green. But we can see here that we've got these recesses in here. So we can scrape a bit of paint from there. We've got these lugs on the side of the engine. So we can scrape a bit of paint from there. Now then, does this go in? Is that pipe? Yes, it is. That pipe has got to go behind that one. So that's going to go in like that and locate on those two lugs. There we go. And the front part, that's way too far forward. The front part has got to locate in these pipes that we fitted earlier. So it's all just got quite complex, and that's just fitted in there beautifully. Look at it, it's just staying there on its own. I'm so glad I did that sort of my own artist license colour. It's like a light, very light mix of green and silver. All I did was left the RLMO2 in the airbrush. Well, took out the excess and just didn't clean the airbrush and left the green in there. Okay, so that's going to go down in behind there, slide back. That's going to go over the front of there. And then that's going to fit onto those lugs. Look at that, it won't fit as well now that I've got the glue on there. Bloody typical. And I'm going to put a drop of cement in there to hold that together, and a drop of cement behind. And I should be able to push all that together just like so. There we go. So hopefully that's going to be enough to hold it in place. It's not, is it? It's not enough to hold it in place. Urgh. How am I supposed to get cement onto those lugs? Push that tube in there. There we go. Okay, so that will hold that in position. Now this side, I'm going to try and take this tape away. If I can get hold of it. Oh, come on. There we go. Right, so that stopped us wicking glue onto that engine bearer. So we can scrape some paint off of here, and we'll scrape some paint off of there. And we'll just test fit this first. That fits in there lovely. It's located on those lugs. Right, so I'm going to take some paint out of here. There we go. And then I'm going to put some extra thin. It's a swarf on there. I'm going to put some extra thin on there, some extra thin on there, and hopefully I can be quick enough to get this on while it's still wet. And there we go. Oh dear, that pipe's a mile out. Didn't test fit it properly, did I, guys? What I need to do is get it away and give that pipe a little tweak. Cement's dried out. Another drop, just like so, and then we'll get this onto there and then get that line on those lugs. Go on. It's better. Right. So I'm just going to hold that together for a few minutes and let it all dry. All right, so we've got those tanks in there pretty much dry, I think. I hope. Just quickly once again check the exhaust. So this is this side, so that's going to go up under there. It's going to clip in at the front, and we've got holes everywhere, so that's all good. So that's fitting absolutely fine. Just unclip that from the front. Then we'll try the same on this side. Just trying to show you guys that you don't need to fit the exhaust now if you don't want to. As I say, I don't want to have problems with this fillet. I'd rather, have the exhaust slightly out of position on the engine than have loads of filler around these. But looking at the way it's going together up to now, I'm sure it's going to be absolutely fine. Right, so that's good. Right. Next thing is this lovely big pipe on the bottom of the engine. This is an oil feed pipe apparently, and this is actually going to go into that recess in the oil tank. So what we will do is remove paint and primer from there, and we will remove paint from there. Okay, and then we can glue this. This is going to go into position in there, and then these little brackets are going to line up, we hope, with, push my glasses up again, we hope these little brackets are going to line up, and they do. So what we're going to do is put that in there like that, so the front is all lined up, and I'm going to put a drop of extra thin quick setting in there. I don't mind if it damages the paint because it's going to be covered up by the cowling. Look at that, it's just fallen into place on its own. just give that a nudge that way. Oh dear. Okay, there we go. So we'll do some doctoring around that tube where it meets the oil tank. We'll do some doctoring on that, because if I try and fit it properly now, it pulls the back out, and I'd rather not have loads of glue marks around here. It's easier to sand and blend that. I think, as I say, it's going to be covered by the shroud anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So there we go. So there's that oil pipe in. So you can see we've got a very colourful engine coming together here. It's almost more attractive than a Merlin, isn't it? Because a Merlin's lovely, but it's all one colour. Okay, so this unit here, I wish they'd show us how that goes, unless it's got a D-shaped pin on it or something. And yes, it does. It has a slot on it. So I'm just wondering, I noticed at the end when you fit the engine, actually we can look at this diagram here. Where's the okay, so it does just kick off to the side. So that's going to go in there like that. Is that right? Why am I looking at the dummy engine? So that's going to go in there. Okay, I'm going to drop a quick setting in there. And then I'm going to sit this in. So I'm assuming it's not a very good fit. It's a very, very loose fit. I'm assuming that's going to go like that. Now, is that pipe supposed to be attached to the side of it? Is this the oil pump? Nope, there's a gap there. You can see there's a gap there. So looking at it like that, this tube has got to be over like that. Alright, so there we go. So basically, yeah, it's lining up with the centre of the engine. Look, so that's obviously off centre, and that's lining up with that, my skewer. So that's how that goes by the look of it. Make sure it's horizontal from the side. Yes, it's horizontal from the side. And there's a gap in that pipe. You can see it there. So this is brilliant. I wish Airfix would do this on all their models. Maybe they will. These instructions are absolutely effing brilliant. Right, so that's that. So that's gone on. Where's my pencil gone? There it is. So that's gone on and that's gone on. So now we've got this pipe here, which fits to the exhausts. This pipe here, this is the last piece, and this fits to the exhausts and nothing else by the look of it. So that is going to go like that over there. So what I'm going to do, unless it's, maybe that pipe's designed to, you can see there's a little notch in that pipe that I've just fitted. I'm kind of wondering if it goes into there. Once again, we shall refer to our brilliant diagrams. Yes, it does. So whether it's just for clearance or it's a glued joint, I don't know. But this pipe is an awful fit. It's really, really loose. So I think I'm going to leave this pipe off until I fit the exhaust, because if I put it on now, it's probably going to get snagged on something. But also the other thing is it will actually help me make sure I've got the that pipe that I've just fitted in the right position, because as I say, it's not a very good fit, and I keep touching these things and bending them down. Okay, so that's gone on like that, and then this one is going to go on like that. Okay, So we've got this pipe. Look at this thing. It's bloody awesome, isn't it? Look at it. It's beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous, this engine. So now that pipe is going to come over the top like so, and it's going to sit in these recesses in the exhaust. So it's not actually touching that pipe that I've just fitted, even though it looks like it's supposed to. Yes, it does go into those recesses, but it's... What we really ought to do is get the bulkhead off and use that as a jig to put all these pipes in place, because when you come to fit the engine, there are... Where is it? Here you go. They're showing us here there are 4 main bits that need to line up. Well, that you can ignore for now. That you can ignore, that you can ignore, but this here is going into the bulkhead, and these here are going into the bulkhead. So that would give us an idea. We need that large centre member. I think I'll leave this pipe off until I fit the exhaust, because if I need to move this around, because I'm looking at the... You can see it here, that pipe, when you look at it as the engine's like that, you can see that pipe is horizontal. And I've got it horizontal. And you can see there it's sort of central. So I'm going to leave that as it is. That'll be easy to tweak when it comes to fitting the engine. And I think I'll put this pipe on when I fit the exhaust, because it's a bit... It attaches to the exhausts, that's for sure, but I'm not sure that it's supposed to attach anywhere else. So there it is in position on the exhaust. You can see it's a mile away from that. Could be because it's bent or tweaked or whatever. Maybe it's supposed to go... Yeah, it kind of looks like it needs to be tweaked back. But I think I'll deal with that later. I may actually drill some pins for it. It looks like that leg there needs to come forward a touch, because it's kind of an acute angle, and so is that one. It's probably as it's come out of the tooling. It's so thin. This is the thing, they try and make these thin parts. And they do a wonderful job of it, but the trouble is the plastic when it comes out is not that rigid, so it is likely to flex. It just, all you need to do with some of this small, you just bloody touch it, especially if they're bagging them up quite quickly. Look at that, give it a little tweak and it sits exactly on that pipe now, but it does need to go over one way. I'm going to leave it until I put the exhaust on, I think. I don't think I'm going to fit that now. That can wait until I fit the exhaust. So I think, is that it? Yes. I'm not putting these bits on yet, because obviously, as I say, I don't know which version I'm going to use this on. So other than that pipe and these bits here, we have finished. The engine is done. So there you can see it upside down with the exhaust dry fitted. There you are. I'll just do you a quick 4-way view. You can have a good old look at it. And there we are. She is a beauty. Airfix should be proud of themselves. This is an absolute beauty. I'm really pleased. I've spent hours on this, absolutely hours. Could have been a lot less if I'd been a better modeler, but I messed things up and had to go back and change stuff. But no, I'm really, really pleased with how well this has come out. It is gorgeous. Give us the decals as well. It's just absolutely, look at it. It's out of this world. It is beautiful. Really, absolutely beautiful. And I'm not talking about me now, I'm talking about the model. It's gorgeous. I've followed the instructions for the painting. If you look at the renderings here, you will see that they don't necessarily agree with the painting instructions. So you need to do your research. It's like this back here, this valve block, that's in like a brick red colour. You can see the instructions tell you to paint it silver. These tubes down here across the bottom of the engine, they're in aluminium, but the instructions tell you to paint them green. So do your research, see what you want to do, and go from there. Okay then guys, so I'm going to call that a day. I think you've had about an hour. So very, very nice. That exhaust is falling off. Very, very impressed. Could you tell I'm pleased with this? I don't know if it comes across really, but it is bloody gorgeous. It's absolutely stunning. So there we are. So you could do these in the RLM02 or silver. You could do that in RLM02 or silver. You could do this in RLM02 or silver. And as you can see, I've got a little mishmash going on. So there we are. There we go. I think I said in a previous video that I think the Spitfire is probably Airfix's best kit. I think this one could have just overtaken it, certainly the engine. But then that's not really fair because a Merlin is just black, isn't it? This is all sorts of different colours and the decals and everything. It's really, really all popping off and it looks bloody great. But this, I mean, to me, this reminds me very much of Zucchimura. This, and I've said it before about other Airfix kits. If this came in a Tamiya box, I wouldn't question it. It's absolutely gorgeous. The only thing is, if it was Tamiya, it'd be 3 times the price. So there we go. Right, I was, because I mean, like I say, yesterday you could get this £80, £81 delivered in the UK. What a bargain for a plastic kit. I know £81 is a lot of money, and I know there's some out there that can't afford it. And I know that, you know, it's for a plastic model, it's a lot of money. But when you compare it to the rest of the market, what a bloody bargain. I mean, that is the same price as, pretty much the same price as the Buccaneer was when that came out, and that was 48 scale. So, you know I keep saying that, but some people don't like me saying it, but it's a great comparison. There we go. Thank you for watching. I will see you all for part 6. I guess the next bit is the cockpit. So we've got, once again, we've got these renderings to allow us to move forward. Not sure about these, if these colours are going to be correct to the instructions, but we will get there. And as I say, Airscale, remember you saw my video yesterday about that beautiful print with the Typhoon. Airscale are coming up with a 3D printed cockpit update set. So a lot of this will be replaced with 3D printed resin, which will be sharper because of the nature of injection molding. It's never going to be as good as 3D printing. However, look at that. Just look at it, eh? Right. I'll see you all soon. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.